Brasco&Beast. Fit, fabulous, and frisky. I'm Beast from Brasco&Beast, and today we are going to do what's been called pig saver ham. And I fixed it before, and it turned out great, but I think I've gotten the recipe down even a little bit better. So this is going to be an alternative to eating ham, and it was delicious. In fact, it was so delicious I need to make some extra ones because I kind of ate it kind of fast. 140 grams of tofu. Now I'm going to need about 3/4 cup of water, okay? Okay. Give me 2 spoons of this, 2 tablespoons of this liquid smoke. 1, 2. Now, doing this in the food processor actually makes it a lot easier to do. I'm going to put a few drops of red dye in here. I'm going to use 10 drops, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, maybe a few more than we thought we was going to have, okay? That'd be all right. Don't tell nobody. So this is what we got so far before we get started. We've got the tofu, the water, the liquid smoke, and the red dye all together, one mixture, before we get to mixing things up. We want to run this for about 30 seconds, okay? Run it for 30 seconds. This is onion powder, so we're going to add 4 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Ta-da! I'm going to add 2 of these, 2 spoons of this, teaspoons. 1, 2. Right? Real simple stuff. Real simple stuff. Now, they said they wanted to add sugar. But you know what I like better than sugar? I want some brown sugar. Ooh. 1. Oh, by the way, and the brown sugar makes it heavenly, by the way. 2. 3. 1/4 cups of mushroom powder. I have an 1/8 measurement, so I'm going to do this twice. Mushroom powder is odd. Excuse me, but nutritional yeast has been just really wonderful at just adding, you know, just a flavor to stuff, you know. MSG that goes into this. 1 teaspoon of this. Then it called for some salt, right? But instead of regular salt, I'm using Lawry's. You know how we feel about our Lawry. Our Mike Lowry. Boom. Boom. 2 of those. 2 chickpea flour. 2 heaping things of chickpea flour. Just so that you know, if yours look like this, it's looking the way it's supposed to look, okay? And you still got the liquid pink stuff at the bottom. Now we're going to close this all up and mix it together, because I think we got all the ingredients that we need, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Did I put my liquid smoke in there? I did. Sure did. Okay. Let's hit it. Ooh. It's thickening up. Now we're going to add 2 cups of Vita wheat gluten. So this is my 1/2 cup measurement. So I'm going to add 4 of these. Instead of kneading the dough with your hand, taking a long time, keep it in the food processor, right? Now, you want to blend this for 3 minutes. Oh shoot. I think I overheated it. It stopped before I stopped it. Let's see. Let's get it out. Yeah, it's looking real doughy. Take your dough and cut it into 2 pieces. Let's flatten them out a bit. They should be pretty easy to work with. A little bit sticky, but not by much. We want that because now we want to add the fat to this thing, okay? Now, how do we add the fat? Coconut oil. It's for room temperature. Just adding it, just putting it in here like this. Because, you know, ham has fat in it, right? So this helps to give you that fat texture when you cut into it like it's real ham. Just add it randomly, and you can add it to one side. Don't want to overdo it because it's gonna be fine. Have some space in between it. Put some space between each one of them. And it may seem like a whole lot, right? Well, it is, but it's worth it. All right, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a ham sandwich. You're gonna take the top, put it over here like this here, and pinch these 2 together, right? And the reason why we do this because we don't want to add the oil earlier because it just don't mix right. You know, it just doesn't mix right. Okay, so we got that going on like this with this ham loaf. See, now it's looking good. There we go. And it looks like it's forming really good. None of it, and actually the way we got it, we're not even losing any of the coconut oil in the middle of it. So we've got the wonderful fatty deposits in the middle of the dough that's going to make it come off even better. Preheat your oven to 350, okay? Pop it in just like this. Right? Get this dough in here like that. And pinch it off on each side here. Okay? You're going to pinch it off on each side. And have your ham ready to go to put in the oven for about 1.5 hours, to be quite honest. So we're ready. This is ready to go into the oven right here, just like this. Now this stack, I did actual without the machines. I just did it by hand. I kneaded it by hand. It's more rough looking. We're going to see how the difference is between those two. This one's thicker, actually. Definitely messier. I'm going to pinch both sides of these together. Just like that. I want to make sure we have enough room on both sides so that we can roll it up nicely. Yeah, there we go. Rolling it up. There we go. Rolling it up. There we go. We're rolling it up. We're rolling it up. We're rolling it up. Shove it up. Pinching it on both sides. Twist it on both sides. So if it grows or expands, it becomes a more compact meat. This one feels meatier than this one. This is by hand. This is by machine. I'm already liking the way this hand one feels. Even better. We'll compare the two. See, what I did was I went ahead and mixed all the wet ingredients here and mixed them separately. I think it mixes better if you take that and then in your bowl, you put all your dry ingredients together and mix all those together separately. Because if you put them all in your machine at one time, you might do what I did, which is to blow the engine in your food processor. It ain't worth all that. Just a pro tip for you. And you're right. This is my third one. I'm making 3 loaves. Three different techniques. So I'm gonna use all my tofu up. Because I didn't put all the tofu in one. I sliced it in thirds and used the tofu for 3 different loaves. Now we add the liquid ingredients so that we don't have to scrape it out of the we add it in like that. See how much cleaner that is? See that? We get in there with our hands, mix it up. Oh yeah, it's looking more pink like it's supposed to on this time. This time it's looking all pink. All right, now we're down to the cooking part. So let's get a pan out. Put all 3 in here. And put it in our preheat oven. Our oven has been preheated for 350 since we've been putting everything together. We're going to put this all together right here. We're going to put this middle rack. We're going to let it stay in there for an hour and a half, and we're going to get the veggie stock ready for the second part of the cooking. So this is a 2-part cooking. The first part is baking it for 1.5 hours. While the loaves are cooking in the oven, we're going to prepare the veggie broth to do the second part of the cooking. Pouring the last of the veggie broth in here. We're going to bring this up to a boil and let it boil because we're about 18 minutes out from the loaves being done. And all 3 of them are doing pretty good in there. And they're starting to smell pretty good as well. Hold them true to form. Be sure you double wrap those loaves so that they don't explode in the oven on you. So put plenty of aluminum foil on it so that you don't have to worry about cleaning up a doughy mess. The idea is to get this broth going so that it is boiling so that when we take it out, we can put it in here and then let this simmer. And don't boil your seitan or it will turn to straight dough. So you want to boil. You want to get your broth up to boil before you put it in there, so that when you put it in there, so when you put your loaves in there, it'll drop it to just simmering. But that's where you want it to stay. And after you drop it to simmering, we're going to take it and stick it back into the 350 oven and let it stay for another hour and a half, so it just simmers. Okay. We want it to slowly cook, and that's going to cook some juiciness into it. Okay. Now it is a 2-step process, because even after it finishes cooking, then we're going to let it sit in the broth overnight, and then tomorrow we'll put the glaze on top of all 3 of them. But tonight we're still finishing the cooking process. Okay, so let's peel this open and see what it looks like. Unwrap it. See what we're looking and what we're dealing with. Ooh, it's hot. Okay. Pretty good looking loaf right there. We'll put them into the boiling stock. We're going to turn the stock off. We're going to turn it off because we're not trying to boil it. Remember, we're not trying to boil it. Be very careful. Don't spill it on yourself. Leave it cracked. Okay. You have yet another hour and a half of cooking. Don't put the top on top of it because you don't want it to boil by accident, okay? Leave the top off so it has a chance to simmer and slow cook, okay? Remember, if you boil this, it's going to turn to dough, straight dough. It's not going to have that meat texture because remember, you're dealing with wheat. So be mindful of that. It's the slow cooking and it's the technique that makes it taste so good. All right, we're at the end. Ooh. All right. Yep. It's firm. It's got its texture. It's firm and got its texture. Now, what we do is we allow these to sit here for the next, well, overnight, and let it cool off naturally, but stay soaked in the stock. Well, it's the next day, and let's just see how our loaves have turned out. They feel really, really dense. So I put a piece of parchment paper right here, because what we're going to do now is we're going to set them up so that we can glaze them properly. So we have 3 very dense rolls. This is the one that was made with the food processor. This one was made by hand. This one was made by hand. And so we're going to do all 3 of these. But we got to make sure we get our glaze together. So we're going to go with brown sugar, mustard, cloves, molasses, Worcestershire sauce, low liquid smoke, vinegar, black pepper. And we're going to make it into a paste, okay? So that it can make these taste like they have that outer covering, that sugary outer covering. And we've warmed the oven already. We got it ready so that we can put it in here and get things going. I'm going to take about a 1/3 cup of sugar. Get this going right. A brown sugar. Start off with a 1/3 cup of that. This molasses, we're going to put a couple of spoons here of this. There we go. A good dash of Worcestershire sauce, just a dash, squirt. Some vinegar, balsamic vinegar. I'm going to add some cloves to this, rounded up cloves. A little bit of black pepper. The original recipe asked for cayenne pepper. I'm not necessarily with that. A couple of decent squirts of mustard. Something that'll get my glaze going in the right direction. You want to take each one of them. You want to score the meat. like a surface cut, you know? And then score it the other way. One way, and then score it the other way. All right, so that's after the first glazing. We're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more layer of this, and then we're gonna call it a day. We're gonna slide this over this on this one more time. We'll flip it over a little bit though. Glaze that other side. There we go. I'm done with glazing. Now this is why I'm going through all of this, because I've got to do some meal planning and prepping here. So I'm going to be able to cut it up in such a way that's going to allow me to do my meal prep to the exact grams of what I'm expected to eat per day. Provided you don't have a gluten intolerance, because we're dealing with gluten now. If you have a gluten intolerance, you can't do this, obviously. But seitan has the most dense amount of protein you could get without fat, without a whole lot of other stuff. And it's just pure protein for the most part. And when you're trying to build muscle and you're working out and all that type of stuff, it's really handy. And plus, since I did it at home, I know there's not a tremendous amount of salt in this seitan that I'm eating right now. So I'm investing in my own body, saving money actually, because it's a lot cheaper to do it this way and eat hearty, like I like to eat. You know, and then really just make my day a lot smoother. Just all I gotta do is pop it out, heat it up, and I'm eating. Yep. That's looking like glazed meat, all right. We're going to take it and open it up. See what kind of glaze we're looking at. So we'll just take one of the first ones we can just pick up. Pick it like that. Let's see what the texture and the meat looks like here, okay? This is the one where I put the extra red dye. That looks pretty good, folks. Look at that. Perfect. Edges there, looking good. All right. And last but not least, we're going to do the one that was done with the food processor. See if there was any tremendous difference between those, okay? Okay, we're going to cut it open. No, it's definitely smoother. Yeah, overall, they just really turned out really good and really dense and compact and very helpful. Everything worked out really good. It smells tremendous. Oh, yeah. It's all flavored with that wonderful sugary, crispy, that sugary coating on each one of them. It's perfect. Now, you know, and I just want to encourage you, you know, to give seitan a try. It doesn't have to be this complicated. There are much simpler recipes out there. I just happen to enjoy this pig saver version here because it just tastes so good, you know. But yours doesn't have to be this complicated, all right? Cooking for Brasco, I'm Beast. We're out of here.
Brasco and Beast. Fit, fabulous, and frisky.